Hello, and welcome back to the Hoping Mum and Dad podcast, episode 52. We're feeling a bit more refreshed. If you've listened to episode 51,
a bit more refreshed.
You'll understand why we've been so tired. All good news, mind, so can't complain. But yeah, I'm done talking for a bit.
You're done talking for a bit.
I need a break so you can take over.
Because you've been so chatty. So, first of all, thank you to everyone who's already listened to episode 51. We've had so much lovely feedback from everyone.
And stuff.
And stuff, yeah. We've had lots of lovely gifts from family and friends and listeners, like, far and wide. And so we're really, really grateful and appreciative. It's really heartwarming to know that, people understand and people are really happy for us after what's happened. And also...
everyone likes free stuff.
No, that people feel like we've helped them in some way, and they know that we've helped other people, which
I
is
think
nice.
you're a little bit more plugged into that than me, because like you handle the Instagram stuff, and like a lot of people connect and leave messages and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I just annoy everyone from time to time, get on my face in there talking about I'm trying to give my perspective as a guy, which is we don't do much. You do a lot. No, you do a lot of supporting. A lot of everything else. People said to me, "Well done." I was like, I literally couldn't have done less. You did. You supported me through it. It was. I mean, I literally couldn't have done it without you. You would have. No, I wouldn't. No mas. So yeah, today a little bit more real talk, just to. I just say how lovely you look in that floral t-shirt? I've never seen it before. No. When did you get that? My sister sent me this from Australia. And it's like a crop top kind of thing, so it's good for whipping the boobs out. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So if you're listening on Spotify, you're not going to see this lovely floral t-shirt. I've also got a spot of makeup on today, and I had time for another shower, so I feel like a new me. Pampered. Yeah. But we continue as we mean to go on, and just want to share openly and honestly about what happens in the hospital and what can happen. There's so much to go over. I think like these two episodes, part 1 and part 2 of our Becky was knackered and asleep, because normally she checks all the stuff before I put it out, because I'm just the producer or the editor or whatever. And I didn't want to wake you up to ask you, so I just put birthing. So I can't remember, but whatever the title is, I put like, I don't know what the title is either, but I had a little panic about how much you revealed in the videos and how I looked in the video. But who is gonna look? Who cares? Like they're made up with makeup and like it's just. I shouldn't care. I've got no shame anymore. I've been walking around the house with my boobs out. Gently nudge you and be like, dad. We do have an IVF podcast that we've been doing for 5 years. Fine. So. It's fine. I'm puffy. It's fine. Some of the photos that I got. Yeah. Well, your mum got. Yeah. Of you, and then by FYI, none of them are like full on like science book stuff. Like it's all like here and up, basically. Shoulders and head. Yeah. So yeah, but no panic. But I think I was a bit unsure about it in general, but I thought I'm a photographer. I'm a documentary photographer. You're my wife. We've been documenting our whole journey, so I think we should. Yeah. But I didn't really know how to feel about it until we did it. Well, we like the photos we've shown our friends. I think the photos of you are awesome, because they're not because of the photos, not because of the image, but wherever, like because of you. They're just quite powerful. Yeah, because you're just there like, I've had enough. I've had enough. Well, your body's been through a whole thing, and our little baby girl is here because of that. Yeah, and we're a bit obsessed. That's cool. So we wanted to talk to you about obviously the recovery time after birth, and it's tomorrow. Zoe will be 1 week old, so kind of our experience and what we've been through. So part 1 of the video is like leading up to induction, changing the plan, speaking to the doctor, going to induction ward, going to labour ward, giving birth, a few after bits of that. So Zoe is out. Becky's in the hospital. I'll paint the scene for you. Close your eyes. Imagine you're there, right?
I'm almost passed out on the hospital bed.
Becky is in hospital on the labour ward because they kicked me and Sheila out. We weren't allowed to stay. The midwives took care of Zoe overnight.
No, we haven't talked about the bit where we were left in delivery suite.
So okay,
so
fair enough.
Don't skip that.
We'll go from Zoe's just been come out. Everyone's panicking.
No, we've told them about the panicking and the blood loss.
Exactly. So
and we all sorted out. So panic is over. Both Zoe and myself are fine. And
just come
Fuzz
out.
Can kind of breathe a little sigh of relief. So I was completely wiped out and exhausted by what just happened. So I sadly didn't get skin to skin or anything like that because I was just too weak. I didn't try and breastfeed within the hour, which is what I wanted to do. There were more important
things going on.
So Fuzz got to give Zoe some formula almost.
I just gave her. At the time I was just like, she needs the bottle.
Yeah.
You do it, and I was like, okay. If they told me not to, I would have let them. Like if for some medical reason something they needed to like.
No, it was so lovely to watch. So you were looking after Zoe and making sure she was fed, which was really nice. And then basically we'd taken all clothes for Zoe to wear because it's important for them to be warm. Whoops. And basically none of them fit.
She's a chunk.
We got a lovely little vest from our really good friends Lou and Matt with baby Chukas on, and that was going to be like one of our announcement photos, which it kind of has been. It's on the IG
took a couple
feed.
She was like a little lizard in her hot tank. They put her on the hot tank, turned the lamps on. She's like like she quite liked it.
But good. She basically lived in a towel for a little while, and then Fuzz was like, I'm gonna go to Tesco and get some clothes. But he was terrified.
None of the clothes fit. So
he was terrified of going out, weren't you, and not being allowed back in?
I was always coming back in. It's just how much of a fuss would have been made.
Yeah.
I do when like I've just seen my wife give birth and like the baby's so big that she doesn't have any clothes.
You went off to Tesco to get clothes
and ice cream and ice cubes,
and it felt like forever. My mum was holding Zoe because I was still too exhausted, and I was kind of like in a really kind of spaced out state. I don't know if they'd given me anything then.
But they'd given you some local and some gas in there, and I think they gave you some tablets. I'm not sure.
Not yet. So I was really just in a state of complete shock. My body was like shaking. Everything was tingling.
She had done a number on you, hadn't she?
She had done a number on
Zoe.
me. Sorry, I picked up the pen again.
Yeah,
she'd done a number on me. My mum was sat next to me, right by my side, checking on me.
What were you thinking, Beck? I was sitting there.
I was sat there, and you were
I wasn't
gone.
there. I was getting your ice cream. You said, "Off you pop."
I did not send you to get me ice cream.
Pop.
That was you. So, dinner had been delivered before you'd gone. My mum fed me, spoon-fed me like a baby, while you spoon-fed our baby. So you'd gone to Tesco, and I was just like zonked out, and Mum was to my left with Zoe having lovely cutches, and I just kept on turning over to her and telling her how weird I felt. Like my knees felt weird, that my feet felt weird, and I was like, is she okay? Is the baby alive? Because she was still really blue. She hadn't pinked up very much.
Terrifying.
She was covered in so much vernix for a 40-week-old baby. Well, 40 weeks gestation. She was so white in vernix, and just
so you're laying
didn't
there
look alive,
just constantly panicking
because I'm stressed that she couldn't be on my skin because I could not move my arms. I was stressed that I couldn't breastfeed. I was just like trying to compose myself, and then it felt like forever that you were gone. So I was like worrying about you.
I literally walked. I Google Mapped it from the Heath to Tesco Extra. It was like 5 minutes difference between taking the car and walking.
You walked, did you?
Yeah, I walked because I didn't want to lose the space in the car.
Oh, wow.
And the whole car parking
No
thing.
wonder you took so long.
No, but it was...
Basically, I was having panic attack then. I started to... Well, Mum kept on telling me just close your eyes, go to sleep. And I was like, eventually I did start to sleep, but then I felt like I couldn't breathe because I was worried about you where you were. I was worried about if the baby was okay, even though my mum was with her and she was next to me. And my chest
just overwhelming
was tight.
stress.
My vision started to go blurry, like when you're about to faint, but I was lying down, so that shouldn't have been the case.
And you'd lost a litre of blood, basically.
Yeah, so they kept on coming in and doing my vitals and checking on me and everything. And they said, you're okay, you're in shock.
And you're like,
basically.
fine, babe. Dead fine.
Yeah, you're in shock. So just, rest, take it easy, try and sleep, basically, eat a lot.
Yeah.
And by this time, once the hospital food had come and I could try and eat, I still was like struggling to eat.
I've got to say as well, hospital food is not that good.
No. I asked for they come round.
Can we do a Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen in the hospital?
Yeah,
just
didn't they
Gordon Ramsay.
They came round at the beginning of the delivery to ask me what I would want for lunch, assuming that would be okay to eat. And I chose a sandwich. And I remember quite vividly.
It was like the worst time ever.
In labour. Yeah, knocked on the door.
Hey, sandwich. You're like,
I didn't make noises like that, really.
No, but it's funny if I say you did, though, isn't it?
But you were like, you were livid. You were like, nope, it's not the right time.
I didn't say that.
You said something like,
I joked about it after. I was like, I said something like, oh, that's not the right time for a sandwich.
Yeah, so...
if it was me, I probably would have tried to eat the sandwich.
Anyway, for dinner, I opted for a jacket potato with beans and cheese and crumble. And the jacket potato was really good.
Yeah.
That's what my mum spoon-fed me. And then there was
so
crumble and custard for pudding, and I was like, no.
Waves and waves of anxiety and jacket potato and beans.
so much anxiety.
And jacket potato and beans.
And jacket potato and beans. And my knees. I couldn't feel my knees.
Yeah.
It was so weird. But really kind of a scary time.
How long did that last then? How long were we in that bit?
I don't have any concept of time, but I know that...
What is time?
I think we moved down from that room when you were about to leave me about 10 o'clock.
I got back, so it was a good couple of hours.
7 hours?
I got back, after.
Yeah, well, the baby was born at 3 o'clock. And
yeah, so after the baby was born and you went to recovery staff and I went out and I tried to find the most, because the food was shit. I was just like, how are you going to eat loads? Because your body needs all those calories to repair itself, and if you haven't got an appetite, then it's even harder to eat.
Yeah.
And I was
but you came back with all the goods.
I came back with some Mars Bat chalk ices.
Yeah.
A bag of ice to keep the chalk ices cold.
It didn't work.
And then I thought I could put them in the sink and put a bottle of full fat Coke in there as well. It's all like the triathlon stuff, like just super dense calories.
And then it was time for me to eat those things and time for me to try and go to the toilet. I got to go to the toilet.
You're a bit worried about that, weren't you?
No, it wasn't time to go for the toilet. It was just they needed me to pass urine. So that was really hard. I didn't have the energy to get off the bed. So my mum basically supported me to the bathroom, and then every time you go to the toilet, like, you feel weak and woozy again. So I'd be like holding onto my mum's shoulders and swaying, because it's like you're contracting again.
Because your uterus and stuff's coming back up, right?
Yeah. And I was like, this is annoying, because like this is how I wanted to give birth, like holding on to Fuzz on my mum's shoulders, swaying, and like anyway,
we got
to have a nice sexy shower with my mum washing me completely naked, bleeding everywhere. That was fun.
Well, who else would you choose if it wasn't your mum?
You?
Yeah, but if not me or your mum.
What?
Like, your mum has bathed you naked before.
Yeah, I know. As an adult too, when I've been ill.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no shame.
You'd do that for your mum.
Yeah, of course I would. So it was a nice time, but it was a scary time. And it was just hard because I
would have done that. I didn't know you were doing that.
Were you looking after the baby, putting her in the clothes?
I didn't even know that's what you were doing. I thought you went to the bathroom. Didn't know you were in the shower.
I went to the bathroom a couple of times and I got showered, yeah. In a seat, which was nice.
I would have done that.
I know. But it was important for you to look after the baby too. So yeah, then I got clean, felt loads better being clean, but still proper out of it.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of out of it, a lot of woozy, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of just gross.
And you were really like, I don't want to leave my wife, and you tried to speak to the manager of the ward.
I went to get you chalk ices, like I was told, but like I didn't want to leave
me overnight and the baby overnight.
Yeah, so then they came in. I think we had some medical people come in then, right?
Yeah.
And they said, so we're going to kick you all out and Becky's going to go somewhere else. And I'm like, looking at my brand new newborn child, who I thought was dead when they pulled her out because she wasn't moving, and 12 people crashed into the room, and I'm like, no thanks.
They weren't having any of it though, were they? You did put up a good fight.
If ever there's a time to be with your wife, it's when she's absolutely just been through the mill and just can't even sit her properly.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, why would you want to leave your wife in a hospital overnight?
I was super anxious as well, and they were concerned about that too. And I was like, I'm anxious because I'm not going to be able to care for the baby, and you're going to leave me and the baby on the ward, and I can't move.
Yeah. Why can't I just sit in the seat next to you until the morning?
What basically came to be was that Fuzz and my mum spoke to the midwives, and they basically said it's quite normal for women to like go through this, like for whatever reason, whatever situation, or however your birth's been. Basically, it's common that the mum and the baby will be like separated because she doesn't feel well enough to look after the baby.
Yeah.
So that's what happened, and they offered me tramadol to like.
It was that's quite a strong.
Terrifying, yeah, quite strong and addictive.
Probably. I think I didn't say anything, but when they said, I know I didn't mean to, but when they said tramadol, I went oof.
Yeah,
like,
and then you were like,
I know
is that safe? That's really.
I never said,
and I started getting scared about it.
I know it's safe, but it's just full on. Like, yeah, it's like. Well, almost heroin, like
the
basically.
fact that it's full on, this will tell you about my state then, because I was like, I don't really want to take it, we'll just go down, see how it is. And then you were like, yeah, you should probably take it. And then you were like, yeah, you should probably take it. And I didn't
expect him to come out.
I didn't want to take it until you'd left, because I didn't want to not know, wake up and not know that you'd gone. So I needed to know that you were gone. So we got wheeled down. I was allowed to carry Zoe down in my arms in the wheelchair, which was cute. You tucked me into bed. They got me in the bed and set me all up with my little hospital table. They kind of, I think Zoe was next to me in her little cot.
I went and checked in with the nurses then. I was like, are you looking after her tonight? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, just like
feed the baby, basically.
I was probably really annoying, but I had to speak to the human being who's going to be looking after my wife.
I had attempted to breastfeed her upstairs, but it wasn't very successful, obviously, because
you're out of it, like, and you've never done it before and stuff.
Exactly, yeah. So that was a nice little moment, but it didn't go to plan. So that's what made me super anxious too. Anyway, I took the tramadol once you'd gone, and off I went to sleep.
Off you went to Fantasyland.
Yeah, that was about 10 o'clock, and then I slept till about. I got disturbed with another patient coming in the room. It was a nice double room, so at first I had it on my own, and then I got a bit disturbed with another patient coming in, and then I got up at like 1.
Do you know what I'm thinking about it now, right? I can maybe see the point about like not letting extra people stay over because there's babies in there. Imagine if someone just walked off with that baby.
Yeah, well, that's another thing I didn't know happened. They check the bands.
Yeah.
So you are attached with a band, because my hands and my feet were swelling up when we were in recovery, and they put the band on me at first, but then my fingers and my hand was going numb because they'd put it on too tight. But they had to, because they changed mine, they had to change Zoe's as well. So when we went downstairs,
they've got like it's like the name and the date of birth and all that, but it's also
so when we went downstairs, they checked that the baby that's been brought with me is the baby that's mine. Yeah. And so they checked the bands, they say.
Oh my God.
And they did that. But anyway, I got maybe 3.5 hours sleep, and then I woke up at 1:30. So on tramadol, I still didn't stay asleep. I wasn't knocked out.
You must have had so much adrenaline coursing through your body, like.
So I woke up and I was a bit jealous of the lady over the way who had a baby with her. Yeah. And it was crying and, being nursed and stuff. But I still didn't feel.
Zoe was next to you though, right?
No, she was out the room with the midwives being fed and looked after.
Good.
So I woke up and I pressed my bell and was like, is she okay? Blah, blah, blah.
Where's my baby? I've just given birth to.
Yeah, obviously. And they wheeled her in to show me, I think. I can't remember.
Is this your baby? Is this when
I was like, I don't know, I've only seen her for a couple of hours. Well, how would you know?
I know.
But I asked for a cup of tea because I felt like shit, and I think they may have brought me some toast Can't remember. But I didn't feel well enough still to look after her, and I thought I needed to get more sleep. So about 2 o'clock I went back to sleep till 5, so I had another 3 hours. And then
it's not much, is it?
I was constantly disturbed through that 3 hours because the poor baby next to the lady was super grisly because they're trying to feed and stuff, and it's hard.
So time is ticking on.
Woke up at 5 and I was like, oh shit, better see my baby then. Because I felt well. I'd taken myself to the toilet and I was so proud of that I got to the toilet and had a wee on my own and didn't faint. I was like, okay, if I can do that, I can hold my baby. Yeah. So they brought her to me and that was really nice. And then I basically didn't want to go to sleep because I was with my baby.
You had a nice little time, couple of coaches and stuff.
Had coaches with her and had to go at breastfeeding.
That was your first time?
I just did it without the nurses as well. I was like, well, you're probably hungry. I know they came in and told me she'd had formula at like 5:30 and I was like, oh, can I try and breastfeed? And they were like, yeah. But they kind of left. So I was like, okay. So there you go. And that was a bit unsuccessful but lovely. And then I think they came and took her off me and she slept next to me for a while.
So this is your first
and I was just sat there taking photos.
This is your first actual getting to just hang out with Zoe.
Yeah. So I was taking photos and stuff and sending them to you and telling you what the deal was.
At 5 a.m.
Yeah. I knew you wouldn't pick them up. And then I was just like, oh, she can she can kind of just chill out and I will chill out. I had more toast and biscuits and...
What, 5? Really early, 5? Yeah, so me and Sheila are just eagerly waiting, trying to get in. So
you were allowed to visit from 9, weren't you?
So we got there for 8, I think.
Yeah.
So got there for 8.
And it was lovely that you were both allowed in, which was good.
Yeah, it was kind of up to the midwife's discretion, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can see why they would want as few people as possible overnight because...
So then we spent the day on the ward in our room because they do lots of things on your baby when they wanted born.
They wanted to check your blood loss and anemia, right?
Yeah, so they wait for my bloods. They did my bloods at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's still bruised from that. Yay.
But they wanted to do it again later on or something, didn't they?
No, I think they just checked the results.
Yeah, just the ones at 5. So they did that, and I was just
a baby check and a hearing test.
Yeah, and I was just eager to get home.
Yeah, they also note any of the injuries on the baby from birth. So I had an episiotomy, and it was done quite late. So baby Zoe's head was very close to where they cut, and they accidentally she got a little nick on her forehead, and she was quite bruised from being pulled out. Yeah. And
on the arm and basically, the neck.
Her neck and her arm were kind of stuck, and so she was really badly bruised. So when they come to do the health check in the morning to check the baby's reflexes, she was kind of protecting her arm that was bruised. So we had to wait around for the doctor most of the day to just double check because the midwives, they know a lot, but there's only so much that they know. So they need to have things checked.
It's good as well because most people's attitudes that we've met, like midwives, neonatal doctors and stuff like that, is they would much rather go over the top and do too much than not enough.
Yeah, and that's really good.
The 2 checks, the first check they did, I can't remember. It's the arms flail out, they kind of pretend to drop him, and then the arms flail out. First time didn't move. Then when she did it in front of me again, because I wanted to understand, and I said, "Can you just explain this to me? Is this potential nerve damage or a, neck?" Is she literally fractured or broken a neck or something where they've pulled her out? Because when they pulled her out...
It's possible for them to break bones when they...
Yeah, it's possible to have long-term nerve damage and stuff. And I was like, oh...
So that's what they were checking for, but...
So the first one, she was protecting one side of her arm. And then when I asked her to explain it to me and do it again, she moved both arms. And then when the doctor came, she dropped... she didn't drop the baby, but she...
That's the test.
The drop test type thing. She pretended to drop her to get to get the arm, but she only allowed her one arm to be free.
Yeah.
So I was like, she probably annoying to her, but I was like, everyone's been talking about the fact that she's not using both arms, so I asked her to do it and show us that she was moving both arms, and she did. But yeah, there's a couple of them. She's got the midwife picked up another one later on as well.
Yeah, a bruise on her arm. Yeah. So poor little love has been through it as well. But then we were discharged and it was time to come home, and I had the mega wobblies once we got back, basically.
Yeah.
It was quite chill for a while, and then it got to night time and she just wouldn't settle. She wouldn't be put down, and it was just
first
really...
2 or 3 days are just a blur.
Yeah,
So she's
stressful.
been back a week now, right?
Yeah. Well, it'll be a week tomorrow. So yeah, it is highly stressful, highly anxiety inducing.
Yeah, I mean,
basically when the baby was asleep, or regardless of where she was, I couldn't sleep because I thought that she wouldn't be okay. I was scared that she wouldn't be breathing or things like that. And like, obviously mum and dad are down and Fuzz is here, of course, and anytime it's quite an operation with like 2 dogs, 4 adults and a baby in a little tiny anyway
house.
They're here and they can take the baby off me so that I could rest, which was really important, but I just couldn't relax when she wasn't around me. So
and I knew you'd be like that, and I'm like, it's okay, Beck, we're all here, and you weren't having any of it.
Yeah, I think the separation really affected me as well.
Yeah.
In the initial stages, so I was feeling huge amounts of guilt. But this is all very normal, you know, regardless of how your birth goes, it's completely normal. And all my friends who are mums have told me that and told me to be gentle. Cause
I think that's like a whole episode in itself.
Yeah.
Like just how you feel about yourself through all this, because we're kind of just explaining what happened.
Yeah.
But we haven't really talked about how you felt and stuff, and like. Yeah. But the first week was like, can we break it down? Can you remember roughly what happened? So like the day
Friday we got home. That was a stressful night. We got home at like 5.
Yeah.
Then we had stressful times trying to get her to sleep, trying to all sleep. And then the next day, the midwife came. She helped me a bit with breastfeeding, I think. They were meant to send a breast nurse. Like there's a team in Cardiff in the Vale called the Seren team, and they're breastfeeding nurses specialists, and the hospital organised, because I wasn't staying a second night, for them to come too.
So when we left the hospital, like from the final bit, they said you can't go until the neonatal doctors checked her out, whatever, and then the neonatal doctor checked her out, she went fine. And then it was interesting because one midwife was like, yeah, we try and get everyone out as fast as we can because we need to free up the beds.
It was the same midwife that said the same thing. So in the morning at 7 o'clock, she was like the ward sister, I want to get everyone home as quick as I can today. Yeah. And then later on, she was like, if you're not confident with breastfeeding, we can move you into this double room and you can stay as long as you want.
Because they moved us from the original room to the other one because we had to stay longer for the neonatal doctor. Yeah. And then the same woman said, you could stay for a couple of days if you want. And I'm like, you're confusing the hell out of Becky.
This double room as well that we got into, it sounded amazing. It was massive. It had a TV and a double bed, but we sat on the bed and it was like, you said, it was made of matchsticks, and it was so uncomfortable. I was like, if I was to stay in hospital, I'd want to be in that bed that I can move up and down, left and right. Yeah. Yeah,
I am going to complain. I know it's free, but it's not free, is it? But anyway...
Yeah.
So the thing I'm getting at is like you're second guessing yourself about everything. You're knackered. You're stressful. You're stressful. You're stressed. But if someone says to you,
1 second,
are you sure you don't want to stay?
Yeah.
And you go no, and you go, but are you sure though? Do you want to stay?
So on that Friday night when I had my wobbly and I had to walk away from you and Zoe, and I was really upset. I was like, I wish I'd just stayed in hospital. But
it's only because
beat myself up.
Yeah, like. They'd watched, and by the way, like the reason why they said to Becky, do you want to stay, was to get breastfeeding help, but the nurses watched you breastfeed and you were breastfeeding fine.
Yeah. And so it's not, the thing is with breastfeeding, it's just not a given.
It's not consistent.
It's not a straight line. It's not like, this is how you do it. Great, I've got it. It doesn't work like that. So
but they were like, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But like they were like, yeah, you can. Your breastfeeding's going well. Here's some tips. Here's some pointers. That the Geordie one was amazing. She was like just really direct and like, this is what you do, blah blah. And I was like, that's looks like it works really well. And I said I was worried. If it was me, I don't know how much force you use to hold them on and stuff. It's a lot of force,
and I think that's in the days since, in the early days. That's why I struggled, because I wasn't as forceful enough with her as I should have been.
And it's really hard for me to watch, right? Because you're second guessing yourself by everything. You're stressed out and you're just anxious, and you're like, is this okay? Oh, is this okay? And then you add sleep deprivation on top of all of that, and you don't know if you're doing a good job or if you're not. Yeah. I know you're doing a good job because I can see you doing a good job. Yeah. And I'm like, and everyone tells you, me, mum, your dad, you're doing a great job. don't worry. I know it's stressful, but just don't beat yourself up. You're doing a good job. And then you don't. And then when people sort of say stuff like that to you, I feel like it's...
Yeah, so the annoying thing on the Saturday, the midwife came, everything was really good. And I was like, I have been struggling a bit with breastfeeding through the night. I don't think the latch is good. So she helped me put the baby on the breast and showed me what I should do and what I was doing.
This isn't the breastfeeding specialist.
No, just the midwife.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, thank you. The breastfeeding nurse is coming later to help me. And you've made me feel a bit more confident, thanks. And she was like, oh, well, we're so overstretched. I don't think you need to see the breastfeeding nurse, so I'm going to cancel that appointment. So I was like...
That is really shitty.
Okay.
That's a discussion. That's not something you just pop in at the end. Yeah, that's not cool.
She just decided.
You asked for help, so you should have got it. Mm-hmm. I wasn't there at the time. I don't know where I was.
So that was really frustrating, and I got really cross because that Saturday night was horrific. Trying to feed her again and getting the latch and everything was really hard. And we hadn't bought formula in preparation of it going wrong, which is a tip I would say. It sounds pessimistic.
Nothing wrong with a bit of... Yeah. You might lose more blood than Becky, need a blood transfusion, and can't breastfeed.
It's not pessimistic to be prepared, is it? So I would say, like, my mum had bought, thankfully, like a couple of pre-made formula bottles, hadn't she, the ready ones? So we used them at home to substitute the breastfeeding because it got quite stressful, but every day that's come and gone has been a bit easier.
And every time you've seen the breastfeeding nurses quite a few times now, and
I've seen the midwives maybe a little bit more than normal because she got jaundice, so they've been doing the bilirubin tests on her.
Which is completely normal. 6 out of 10 babies get that.
And I think I've seen the breastfeeding nurses 3 times now. So one came on Sunday, and then maybe one came on Monday and Tuesday or Monday.
I've seen 2
Sunday
of them,
and Tuesday,
and they've all been amazing.
Yeah, they're so good.
And I kind of sit in if the partners are around or wherever. Yeah. Then
can't recommend it enough.
But sit in if you can, if you're allowed, or if it works out like that, and just take a pen and paper and just like write down a few things. I've made some notes.
So it's been good. Like mostly the majority of it's been good, I think.
Definitely. We're definitely easing into it a bit more now.
And I'm slowly catching up on my sleep. I know parents never catch up on their sleep, but I think I've had severe sleep deficit. Maybe a bit more than
that's normal. Why I'm like, Beck, get to bed. I've got the baby.
But it's not that simple, is it?
We've got a pump now, which will go into breastfeeding. That's a whole episode on its own. But got a pump now, so Becky can pump and I can, feed. Yeah. So we got a bit of a system, and we're so lucky that Becky's parents are here. It is a bit of a logistics thing. It is quite a thing. It's like Becky and Sheila go to bed. Me and Jim are going to stay up. We'll go to bed. You wake up.
The boy team and the girl team. Yeah, it's funny. But we're really lucky and so grateful to my mum and dad, and very fortunate. And all that, to all of your family as well, because we've had lots of visits and support from all of them.
And all the listeners and people that check in with us on social media.
We are so surrounded by a big bubble of love. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, and really we're just going to carry on documenting our journey and like sharing all the, learning as we go along, but sharing so it can be useful and helpful for other people as we go forward.
Yeah. So,
but we are yawning our heads off.
We need to have some tea, and we need to get ready for bed. We need to get ready for evening with Zoe round 6.
Yeah, and I might have...
Last night was the most successful night.
Yeah, it was pretty good. No. And I have an Ironman race in Ireland on Sunday, so I've got to travel.
Wish him luck. It's going to be good.
It's the sleep. I don't want to... Yeah, it's just the sleep. I just need to get enough sleep. Hopefully, I'll get there Friday, put the tent up 2 days before, and just sleep like a baby.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Who knows? Anyway, we will see you in the next one.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
See you in a bit.